Call this meeting to order of the Board of Mayor and Aldermen for the September 9th meeting, and we'll, if you would, rise this time for the invocation.
Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, may thy will be done tonight, here at this board meeting as would be pleasing to you. We thank you for this board, each one that's present, then the mayor, and we just pray that you would be with them as they conduct the business that needs to be done tonight. Pray that you would guide each one, and when it's all over and we'll go home, we'll feel good about it. We pray especially tonight, and I know all of our hearts are saddened over the tragic accident that happened Saturday night with a minor family. Brody and all of his family, we know they're grieving, we know their hearts are heavy. There's one thing that we just don't ever quite understand why, but we don't have to, but we know we serve a great big wonderful God, and we do pray for that family tonight. We pray for our country. We pray that you would help our leaders to listen to God. We pray for our police department and all of our first responders, the fire department. When they get calls and go out, they always put their lives in danger, and sometimes for us in ways that we can never imagine. Pray that you just be with each one of the departments, watch over them, keep your hand upon them. Help us all to be at our best for thee, to live for Jesus, do the best we can. In thy name we ask these blessings. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Our next item on the agenda is roll call, which we've accomplished electronically here. We have all present. Commendations, we don't have any commendations tonight, and we don't have any proclamations, award, or special presentations. That brings us to comment from the citizens. John, I think you're on the list first, if you'd like to come up.
Good evening, everybody. My name is John Santana, and I want to thank you all again for your time and consideration for the TUA board spot coming open. So, a lot to say and not a whole lot of time, so I'm going to talk pretty fast. Before I get into why I would like to serve on the board, I want to talk about how and the value I bring to the table. So, I'm a serial business and cybersecurity professional. I build cybersecurity programs for companies all over the healthcare sector, and the utilities and energy sectors alike are critical infrastructure. It's imperative that we protect it, and both industries are under attack by state-backed hacking groups. I have some bulletins here from the Cybersecurity Infrastructure and Security Agency that reference Russian state-backed groups hitting critical infrastructure, and more applicably, the TUA, IRGC, Iranian-backed groups hitting community-based water systems and wastewater facilities. Specifically, last year after the October 7th debacle, they hit a couple of wastewater facilities that were using Israeli-made programmable control units. So they hacked those and they took those plants offline. So we really need to pay attention to that threat. It's quite serious. I normally charge healthcare companies $200, $300 an hour to do that kind of cybersecurity work, so the TUA board's going to get a great deal having me on there for free. As to the why, I'm a remote worker, so my livelihood is highly dependent on reliable electricity and high-speed internet. If I don't have those things, I can't feed my family. If I don't have electricity, I can't air condition my family, and that's not good for any of us. I'm also passionate about health. I weirdly pay attention to water quality. I have a 7-stage reverse osmosis water filter in my house, and it does a pretty good job getting out the pesticide runoff and the fluoride and all that nasty stuff. But it's an expensive system to run. A lot of folks around here can't afford a system like that, so they do the next best thing. They buy like a $40 Brita filter at Walmart, and those are okay, but they don't get out the more insidious contaminants. So, to the extent that I can raise some awareness to those issues, raise the bar on water quality, and pursue a healthier water for this community. I think it would be a great honor and a privilege. So, to close, I'm young, I have a lot of energy, and I'm a hard worker. And if you choose to appoint me to the board, I won't be disappointed. So, thank you all again for your time and consideration. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Santana. And I've neglected to mention we started, and Mr. Santana was right on it. We have a 3-minute time limit for public comment. So, Mr. Andy Bobo.
I think we are here for an agenda on the beer board.
Okay, yeah. Oh, you said it right there. I'm sorry. Just didn't see it. Mr. Stanton.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, everyone. My name is Mike Stanton. I live at 311 Heights Avenue here in Tullahoma. I appreciate very much the opportunity to introduce my candidacy for a third non-consecutive term on the Tullahoma Utility Authority. I've served 9 years on the TUA board. Nearly a decade of experience has served me well. I believe I'm well prepared to serve in this capacity again. We have an outstanding board. TUA has strong leadership. Our new president, Alan Potter, has hit the ground running. He has shown already he has innovative ideas, given the brand new partnership with the Superintendent, Dr. Stevens, and Tullahoma City Schools, whereby TUA offers co-op opportunities to THS students to gain practical experience in utility operations. Already 3 students are co-oping at TUA. In addition, TUA will allocate $25,000 annually to fund scholarships for graduating seniors from Tullahoma High School. I'd like to see these programs further implemented. I would very much appreciate your support. Thank you for serving in our city in the capacity for which you've been elected. Mr. Glick, Coach Mathis, Ms. Wilson, and Ms. McGee, we count on each of you for your knowledge and experience. Mr. Thoma, Mr. Byrd, we're looking to each of you for fresh ideas and new insights. To you, Mayor Seaborn, we look to you for strong leadership, which I am confident you will provide. Collectively, you all are charged with the responsibility of governing our city. I believe you have enormous potential to be an outstanding board and govern our city in the best interests of our citizens. I fully expect you to be civil, respectful, and considerate of each other. Mayor Seaborn, I am very excited about you leading the way, and I believe the citizens of Tullahoma are optimistic about the future of our city. Thank you.
Thank you. And Mr. Noes.
Good evening. My name's Ray Noes. I live at 2310 Old Oak Road. Most of you know me, so I'm going to be brief. I don't think it's necessary to go into too much detail, but I'm a 58-year resident of Tullahoma. I've got an engineering degree from Vanderbilt University and another engineering degree from the University of Tennessee in Knoxville. So I've worked at Microcraft for 31 years before retiring there in 1999 as a senior vice president of engineering. So I've got an engineering background. After retiring there, I started my own consulting business, providing engineering services in technical and business management. My most recent employment was with the University of Tennessee Space Institute, where I was a program manager for their hypersonics programs there. So that's sort of my background there. Then, what happened? I decided to run for alderman. 2015, I entered my first race for alderman and was elected to my second term. Then 3 years after that, 2 years after that, I decided to run for mayor and was elected for a 4-year term there. So you're very familiar with that background, but I want to let you know that while I'm applying for this position with TUA board, I'm very familiar with boards and how the boards work. I've served on most of the boards that Tullahoma has. For instance, Consolidated Communications Committee, Tullahoma Housing Authority, Tullahoma Area Economic Development Commission, Tullahoma Area Regional Planning Commission, Tullahoma Airport Authority, and for the past 2 years I've served on Tullahoma Utility Authority. While on that board, I helped that board establish a comprehensive development plan for the strategic plan for the next 5 years. That was a great asset to a new board, to a new person coming in to run that organization. Also, I served on the policy committee. There, Ms. Patty Dean was on the policy committee with me. And during the second year of my term, we developed, also revamped all of their policies and added a new policy for attendance to address the problems that had been brought to us by the commissioner. So along those lines, I'll note that during my 9-year terms on this board, I've never missed a single meeting. On the 2 years with the TUA board, I never missed a single meeting. So I'd like for you to positively consider my application to serve on that board. So I want to thank you for your time.
Thank you, sir. Do we call for anybody else? Yeah, is there anybody else that wanted to speak at this time? Mr. Miller?
Good evening, I'm Dwight Miller. I'm from 121 Kings Lane. Been living there for 31 years in that house. I graduated from high school in Tullahoma, and so I'm pretty familiar about most of it. I started off my career in contracting in West Tennessee, in Dyersburg, and the contracting that we were doing was water, sewer, electricity, and later fiber. We ran fiber lines all up and down the East Coast and in the early stages of fiber. So put a lot of miles in. I worked all over the United States and most of the world during 20 years of doing that. Then I applied for Tullahoma Utilities, the position of the financial person at that time. It had different names. Now they're calling it vice president, but anyway, I was hired by Joe Loggins back at that time, and he was well known for everyone back then. And so I've worked 24 years at Tullahoma Utilities Board, which is now Authority. So I'm pretty familiar with everything that goes on there. Attended all the board meetings, although I didn't get to vote. So the things that I'm interested in is providing service to the customer, primarily because I realized in my early years, general contracting, we typically had one customer at a time on every contract. But when I came to Tullahoma Utilities in '91, we had all customers. So I learned real quickly the customer was king, and that was instilled to everybody at Tullahoma Utilities. All the employees were hardworking. They did a really good job, and they were pretty much a big family, and they worked well together. So I'm applying to give my benefit of experience, having this much, 44 years basically in this industry. And I know we've got new general manager, pretty new finance person, and we're about to lose the water sewer manager next year. And right now they don't have an electric department manager, so I think my experience could help on that board, and I'm offering my services. Appreciate y'all's time.
Thank you, Mr. Miller. Any other public comments? All right, we'll move on then. Reports from the alderman. Last time I started Mr. Byrd, I'll start with Ms. Wilson.
Thanks, Mayor. I would like to remind everyone that Patriot Day commemoration, that this Wednesday, September 11th, will be held at Fire Station 1 by our Tullahoma Fire Department. And it's just a great way for us to gather as a community to honor the lives lost during the terrorist attacks and to pay tribute to the heroic first responders and countless individuals whose courage and sacrifice continue to inspire us today. So I'd like to see everyone try to make it out there. It's going to be at 7:30 a.m. And then I also would like to give a shout out to the Tullahoma Fine Arts Center that the upcoming classes there, Monday the 16th and Tuesday the 17th, they're going to have some art classes starting at 10:30 a.m. If anyone's interested, it costs $40. And also remind everyone that South Jackson Performing Arts Center is going to have their play starting Thursday, September 12th through the 15th. I'm blanking on the name, but it's a play about a certain school for witches and wizards, and it's rated PG-13. So I'd like to see everyone come out for that, as well as to make a plug for the 41 Music Festival that's coming up. It's going to be downtown on Friday, September 27th, and Saturday, September 28th. And lots of music, food. If you've never attended, it's a really great event. They're going to be featuring a kid zone with bounce houses and Lowe's wood kit building, cornhole crafts. So everyone kind of jot that on your calendar.
Thank you. Ms. McGee.
Hi, I don't really have a lot of comments. I'm still just trying to get acclimated. I've been spending some time meeting with some of the citizens about their concerns, but I would like to extend my condolences to the Minor family in that tragic loss, and I would also like to extend my condolences to our previous Alderman, Derek Mann. That's all I have.
Alderman Mathis.
To repeat what she said, Derek Mann's dad was working in his garage and fell, hit his head, and passed away. And so it's not a good time for that family. That's all I have.
I have no report. Okay. Alderman Dolan.
Yeah, same respect to the Mann family. Prayers be with them.
Thank you. All right, report from the mayor. Just a couple of items before we get into some detailed things here. So I had the benefit of last Friday morning attending 9/11 Stair Climb the fire department sponsors, and if you haven't been to the event, you should go. That event is in memory of firefighters that lost their lives in the 9/11 attacks, and they go out and they. Chief Pearson, how many flights of stairs do y'all walk in that event? 110 flights, and so they do that in gear. But the greatest thing about that, and as they go, they carry a name of one or two or more of the men and women who lost their lives. And when they finish their walk or their climb, they read that name at the podium and ring a bell. They were also joined by their the Marine Junior ROTC group at the high school, and so it was really something to see those young men and women paying their respects in that way. So I encourage you to go to that event in the future if you get a chance. Then again, we would like to extend condolences to the Minor family and the Mann family as well. Assignments to committees and boards, and I'm going to apologize right now to a few of the aldermen who I didn't get a hold of today. Oh, I'm sorry. What did I miss?
Matthew.
Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot. I came around and got the end. Go ahead, Matthew.
Thank you, Mayor. I would also like to extend my condolences to the Minor and Mann family, and I'd also like to ask citizens to respect the privacy of those families. I also was able to meet with several of the directors of various departments just to get to know them better and also see what the individual needs of their departments are, what might be coming up in the future. And I have a few more of those meetings set up for the next few weeks. And that's all I've got. Thank you very much.
Thank Thank you. Apologize for forgetting you.
It's okay.
I'll be doing that a lot, so just y'all raise your hand. All right, appointments for every year we do, I think we do it every year, right? At least beginning of a new board. Board member and committee liaison appointments. And so I'll just run down this list for the public. So for the Airport Authority, that'll be Alderman Byrd. Board of Education, Alderman McGee. The Coffee County Consolidated Communications Commission, that's the group that handles the 911 board and such. That'll be Alderman Wilson. The Coffee County Industrial Board Liaison will be Alderman Glick. The Housing Authority Liaison will be Alderman McGee. The Planning Commission Mayor's Representative, I will hold that seat myself. The Tree Board Liaison will be Alderman Mathis. And then these two kind of go together, so I'm going to read them together. The Tullahoma Area Economic Development Corporation, the Tullahoma Industrial Development Board will be Alderman Byrd. The reason I put those together, I've had several people ask me already, the Tullahoma Industrial Board is left over from when each community had an individual industrial board. There is almost no business for that board, but there are some outstanding bonds that occasionally have to be dealt with, and soon those will be up. And so we have traditionally appointed all the members of the TAEDC to the Industrial Development Board, since it deals with the same thing they're dealing with, and they meet maybe once a year for 5 minutes. Tullahoma Utilities Authority, Alderman Bush. Tullahoma Arts Council, Alderman Byrd. Go Green Tullahoma, Alderman Wilson. Tourism Council, Alderman Glick. Sports Council, Alderman Mathis. And Downtown Council, Alderman Bush. So I hopefully did an okay job at that, and if you didn't like it, y'all can beat me up in the parking lot later. We'll see. We can talk about it. So that's that. Now, the next item we have along this line is we need to elect an alderman representative to the Planning Commission. So let's do that at this time. And I guess what we're going to do, are we going to do the same thing here with this?
We'll take nominations, and
Yep.
then we'll all vote on the pieces of paper.
Does everybody have pieces of paper in front of them? Yeah. Okay, just so we have them. All right. So we'll open the floor now for nominations from amongst the Board of Merit Aldermen for the seat on the Planning Commission and Board of Zoning Appeals.
Nominate Bobby Wilson.
Okay. Any other nominations?
I'd like to nominate Zenobia McGee.
Yes, Bobby, Ms. Wilson.
Which one is this for?
This is for the Planning Commission. I'm sorry, you nominated Ms. McGee?
Yes.
Okay. Are there any other nominations for the Planning Commission?
I would like to nominate Alderman Glick.
Okay. Any other nominations? If we nominate everybody, it's going to get to be complicated, but. All right. If no other nominations, we'll close nominations. I want to make a comment about this since we have 3 people running. I talked to Mr. Worsham a couple times last week, and we're not for sure how it's always been done in the past. But with 3 people running, you can end up with a tie, and then how do you resolve that? It's Mr. Worsham's opinion, and I agree with it, that we should have a majority for these kind of votes. The county commission does that on a pretty regular basis. Of course, there's a lot more members over there. They've got 18 members, but what they have typically done is after the first round of voting, if there's 3 or 4 or 5 candidates, low vote is dropped and you go again. And so unless anybody has any strong objections to that process, that's what I'd like to
Can I
follow this
make a
evening.
comment?
Yeah, absolutely.
Alderman Byrd nominated Alderman McGee, but she's already been appointed by you.
Not to this board, not to the planning commission. I appointed myself to the planning commission.
Gotcha, okay.
Yeah,
Sorry about
no
that.
worries. All right. So at this time, if you would, write down your vote, and we're going to pass it over here. Is that what we're going to do?
Yeah,
You go ahead.
write your name on the top, and then your vote towards the bottom, please.
We should still work on this. She's going to read it out loud anyway.
I don't know.
Sorry. I promise I didn't swap it under the table.
Okay. Alderman Toma for Mr. Glick. Cernovia McGee for Mr. Glick. Matthew Byrd for McGee. Wilson for Wilson. Glick for Wilson. Miss McGee for Miss McGee. And Mathis for Wilson.
Did you read her name
No.
twice? No, it was me, Sebring for me.
Oh, I'm sorry,
Yeah.
Sebring. I apologize. There's three. So it's Miss Wilson.
Okay, so that's three, but that's not a majority. So we said we're going to drop low, and this is what we get into.
Oh,
So-
I got you.
So we
Yeah.
got,
So we're
we
gonna
got
drop?
two, so we can't really do that. Yeah, but there's, both votes have two. This is where you get no problem with this approach, so. Y'all just want to take another
I
vote?
voluntarily take my name out.
You sure?
Yeah.
All right. So we're going to drop those, so we'll vote again.
So vote again for Miss Wilson or Miss,
Yeah.
Voted it again.
Yeah, you did.
okay. Mr. Toma for McGee. Glick for Wilson. Sebring for McGee. Mathis for Wilson. McGee for McGee. Wilson for Wilson. And Byrd for McGee. That's 4-3.
So, our, these are McGee votes. Yeah, okay, that's why you confused me.
So
She put-
4 for McGee, 3 for Wilson.
Okay, so our representative on the planning commission is Alderman McGee. Congratulations and thanks for everyone on that process. That's, can be complicated. And so I think that sets all the appointments, and now we have, we need to do election of the mayor pro tem. So we'll follow the same process, I guess. We'll open the floor for nominations for mayor pro tem.
I'll nominate Mathis.
Okay? Are there any other nominations?
I'll nominate Alderman Glick.
Any other nominations? All right, if not, we'll close, and that makes this vote easier.
Thank you.
Okay. Mr. Toma for Mathis, McGee for Mathis, Wilson for Glick, Byrd for Mathis, Glick for Mathis, Mathis for Mathis, and Sebring for Mathis.
All right. Get to hold that seat.
Again.
Again. Congratulations.
Thank you.
All right, report from the city, well, it's normally report city attorney. The city attorney's informed me he has no report tonight. City administrator.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just a few things I want to follow up on. Our last board meeting, we had a citizen come with comments regarding vicious dog and our ordinances for that. We are currently working, our animal control supervisor, Cheryl Rhodes, and Chief Sons and I are working on getting an ordinance before you that kind of beefs up our ordinance so that we are able to handle those situations a little more clearly and a little more directly. So hopefully that will be coming to you at our next board meeting. Also, a strategic communication plan is being put forth for William Northern, the straightening of that. That plan is going to include making sure all of the surrounding companies such as Jacobs and XP, the airport and others, know exactly what that schedule looks like, the road closures and those types of things. Butch Taylor and I are working together on that. We'll also be working with Lyle Russell. So we'll have a plan that we'll be able to get out in plenty of time for those that would be impacted by that the street closures that's going to come with that. Had a great meeting today with our Coffee County Mayor, Dennis Hunt, just doing some catching up on how things are going for the city and the county, and continuing to look to strengthen that bond between the county and the city. So looking forward to continue to work with him on things that are coming up that affect both of us. Announced that TUA Movie Night is this Thursday night at Jefferson Street Park at 6:30. Pizza, popcorn, drinks are going to be there, so we hope everybody can attend. And I've been told to make sure everybody knows that Turtles will be there. So I'll let you determine what that means. But looks like it's going to be an excellent opportunity for a good night out. I think the weather's going to be cooperating, so hopefully people will come out for that. National Night Out is something for our first responders that we're going to have again this year, October 1st. I want to encourage everybody to come out to Fraser McEwen. I was able to attend last year for the first time, and it is truly, it's a great way for our community to come together, get to know our police officers, our firemen, others a lot better and a lot closer, and see the support that our people provide. If you don't like loud noises, you might want to bring some earplugs, because they do let the children get in and turn on the sirens and horns. I found that out the last year also, but it's just a really good time, so I hope everybody can come for that. A couple of HR items. We have our health fair being put together by Lori Ashley and Carrie Rourke right now for all of our employees. That's going to be on November 8th at D.W. Wilson. We're putting together a list of vendors and whatnot to be there, but it's an excellent time for our employees to come together as we continue to try to push healthy initiatives and also make sure that all of the benefits and whatnot that we provide to our employees are understood by our employees. So it's an excellent time for us to really promote healthy lifestyles with our employees. And then last week, we had a safety meeting with Key Risk helping to kind of lead the charge. Each of our departments has nominated somebody from their department to serve on the safety committee. And that's just another opportunity for us to look at risk and things that we can do to avoid risk, and especially if it looks in the areas of employee injuries and those types of things. So it was a great opportunity for us to come together. We have another meeting coming up, I believe, in October or November. We have a couple of new programs we're hoping to roll out to our employees that just helps them stay aware of their actions, the way that they're doing their jobs, and ways to avoid any kind of injury that could occur on the job. Also, I want to pass along my condolences to former Alderman Mann for the tragic loss of his father. The funeral services are going to be a visitation from 12 to 3:30 on Thursday, and the service will follow at 3:30. That will be at Morris Courtner Funeral Home right off the square in Winchester. Just ask that you keep Derek and his family in your prayers. Also, as been mentioned before, prayers for the family of Brody Minor. When I got that call the other night, it was a shock. Brody's one of the students that I had previously at Tullahoma High School, and just if you knew Brody, you couldn't help but love him. And it's been really tough for the community, for the high school. They're doing a lot of work with the students right now, trying to bring any kind of comfort or peace that they possibly can have. A couple of notes. The school will be holding a prayer vigil at 8 o'clock on Wednesday at the Tullahoma High School football stadium, and encourage everyone to be out for that. Not only to support the family of Brody, but also just let all of our young kids know that we're there for them, and that especially in the times of something of this tragedy, that we're there to support them and give them the guidance that they need. His funeral also will be from 2 to 5 on Saturday at Kilgore Funeral Home, so keep that in mind. And then on a related note, Chief Sons and I met with a resident on Stone Boulevard in which this tragedy occurred, and looked at some potential areas that we can try to make that road safer. So Chief Sons and I have gone out and looked at that. I've spoken with our Public Works Director, Butch Taylor, and we're going to go out and look at that again to make sure that we can just keep that street safe. There's an awful lot of young children traffic for Bel Air School, in and out. A lot of young kids in that area, so we want to make sure that the city's doing everything that it can to keep it safe for them. That's my report.
Thank you. Now we'll go back and pick up the approval of the agenda that I missed. Appreciate that. So we have a motion from Alderman Glick and a second from Alderman Wilson to approve the agenda. Is there any discussion on that? If not, we'll vote. 7 yes. For those who are paying close attention, my tablet is being uncooperative tonight, so I'm voting by hand. All right. So that brings us to new business. Item 24-120. Did we just, oh, I'm sorry, consent agenda. All right, we have a motion to approve the consent agenda.
So moved.
It's got to come up here. All right, so I have a motion, a second. I can't see who did it. Motion from Alderman Glick. Is that right? Okay, and a motion from, a second by Ms. Wilson. Any other discussion on the consent agenda? If not, please vote. Yes. All right, 7 yes on the consent agenda. Now to new business. Item 24-124, consider request from the city administrator to appoint a qualified applicant to fill a 5-year term ending on August 31st, 2029 to the Tullahoma Utilities Authority Board. So we're going to try to follow the same process we just followed. We'll open the floor for nominations.
I'd like to kind of preface this a little bit.
Okay.
This is obviously a very popular board, and we had some excellent people to apply, very good quality. I hope, unfortunately, there's only one spot, so I hope some of y'all will remember there are other boards that will be open in the future. I had an opportunity to kind of explore, for lack of a better term, what that board does, what's involved in being on that board. It's a 5-year with a 2-term consecutive term option. There is educational requirement involved. I also had an opportunity to talk to 2 of the board members to kind of get a feel of what they feel, how the board is being run. Are they comfortable with the board makeup? And in so doing, I found no opposition to any member that's involved in that board. I also had an opportunity to talk to a couple of employees, even though they're not directly involved with the board. Sometimes when you talk to the people in the trenches, you can pick up some vibes. And again, I did not feel or find any adversities in regards to the current board makeup. I think the thing that convinced me most was the fact that we did get this letter, as a lot of you saw, in regards to Mr. Potter's support for Mike Stanton. I think it speaks volumes. And with that regard, I'd like to nominate Mike Stanton.
Okay, so we've got Mike Stanton. Any other nominations?
Mayor?
Yes, ma'am.
I would like to second what Alderman Thomas said. We had a lot of interest, and everyone is very, very qualified. But I would like to nominate John Santana.
Thank you. John Santana. Any others?
I'd like to nominate Ray Nolis.
We have Mr. Stanton, Mr. Santana, Mr. Nolis. Any others? So if not, we'll cease nominations and we will vote with cards. Well, I'm glad we don't have to do this all year.
Mr. Toma for Mike Stanton, Mr. Mathis for Noes, Mr. Seaborn for Stanton, Mr. Glick for Santana, Ms. McGee for Stanton, Wilson for Santana, and Byrd for Stanton.
So is that how many
So it
votes?
is a majority.
So that's 4. So
4 for Stanton.
Mr. Stanton is reappointed for the TUA board. And I want to echo the comments everyone else has. You guys make it really hard when so many qualified people show up and apply. And I appreciate everybody's willingness to serve in the service that they've already entered in, service we'll have in the future from them, no doubt. Item number 7, consider request from the Parks and Recreation Department to approve the purchase of a Smithco Sandstar 3 infield rake at the GSA contract price of $28,673.70. Down to the penny. Okay, well, it's okay. I was going to ask for a report from our city administrator on this item, so go ahead.
All right, thank you. As indicated in the cover sheet, this is something that was approved back in January of 2023, and we put together a purchase order for that prior to me being here. Unfortunately, that has been on backlog for quite some time, and then the current vendor has stated that they really can't meet that need anymore. What we're asking for is for us to be able to purchase this new piece of equipment from Smith Company, Sandstar 3. We have this under the GSA contract. You'll see a $3,000 increase in the cost of that rake, inflation being what it is. So we're just asking basically that we're allowed to substitute the one that we can't get for the one that we can get.
Can you say a word or two about the importance of this rake? I think most people hear that number and hear the word rake, and those don't go together.
Listen, I'm with you. I'm with you the same as well. My understanding of the rake, it definitely is needed for the infield. And it's not just taking a rake and trying to stir up dirt, but it actually has different levels. It runs off of a hydraulic, so it's able to hit different levels at different places versus just doing a hand rake or doing a manual rake behind a.
So it shapes the infield is basically what you're saying.
Yes.
Infield conditioner is the proper term.
Okay, infield conditioner.
One of the things too that I would look at is I think the return on the investment we're going to get is the quality of field that we can produce for these tournaments that continue to come in. I think it was 2 weeks ago we had a tournament with 40-something teams that were in, and if you were in Tullahoma on Saturday, you had a hard time at most of your restaurants getting in because there were a lot of families from out of town. So while it is a high-price item, I think it's going to pay dividends as we look at producing those fields that bring in the tourism dollars.
Okay. So we have a motion to approve that from Alderman Glick and a second from Alderman Mathis. Is there any discussion on the rate? Oh, I'm sorry.
He answered my question.
Okay, he answered your question. All right. So no more comments, and we'll vote. I'll vote yes. All right, 7 yes, so that's approved. And then the next item is also a purchase item number 8, consider request from the city administrator to approve the purchase of HRIS software program from UKG and authorize the mayor to execute the contract for a one-time setup fee of $8,000 and a monthly operating fee of $2,144. Do we have a motion to approve the motion by Alderman Glick, second by Alderman Byrd? Mr. Quick?
Yes, sir. This is something that I've kind of been prepping all of you for as we've been talking about how to basically enhance our technology when it comes to providing services not only to our citizens but to our employees. This package from UKG will allow us to better support our employees, but also in recruiting when it comes to benefit assignment, benefit information, but then also has a large scheduling platform to it where it allows us to basically input training materials that need to be completed by employees on an annual basis and even for a job-specific or task-specific training opportunity and for certifications, those types of things. This is something that I know, Mayor, you and I have talked about is long overdue. It's going to help us to eliminate quite a bit of paperwork, but also it's going to allow us to run more efficiently from a full-time staffing standpoint as well.
Anyone have any questions about the software? If you fill out an electronic time card, you know what we're voting on. That's basically what we're voting on. All right, let's, I'm sorry.
I wanted to thank Mr. Quick. This morning I'd reached out to him with several questions about the software, and he answered those quite clearly about the fact that we'd be able to use this for training, not only for scheduling vacations. So I just wanted to thank you for responding with those.
Any other comments or questions? Not, let's vote. Yes. And that's 7 yes, so that passes. Other new business. Do we have any other new business? not, we'll adjourn the regular meeting, we'll enter into the beer board meeting. So, call to order of the beer board meeting is in session. Public comments, so where's my public comments list go? For the beer board meeting, Mr. Bobo.
So you may want to take this up. We do have an application on tonight's agenda, so it may be more appropriate.
That's fine, if that's what you'd prefer to do. And then the other one is Bonnie Patel, yeah. So you're going to wait as well?
Yes.
Okay, that's fine. So any other public comments for the beer board meeting? All right, seeing none, we'll move on. Unfinished business, we don't have any other unfinished business. So new business, item 2 in the agenda is a request to approve a beer application for off-premises permit for Patriot Liquor, 108 West OG Street. Miss Bonnie M. Patel will be manager in charge of beer sales. Please, sir.
Thanks for the opportunity. As you said, I represent, the application is in Brevon LLC. We have filed for an off-premise beer permit. With me tonight is Mr. Bonnie Patel, who is the managing member of this entity. As you also noted, the location of this retail package store is 108 OG Street. My client and I have reviewed and can represent to the board of mayor and aldermen that the applicant and its members comply with the applicable rules and regulations codified by Tennessee law and Tullahoma Code. And we're asking that that permit be approved tonight. And we're here to answer any questions the board may have.
Does the board have any questions for the applicants?
I do. What is an off-premises as opposed to on-premises? So that might not be in your, that may be something.
I think it's, yeah, we're consumption, the consumption of it.
That means that they're going to sell packaged beer to be taken and consumed elsewhere.
I had the same question when I first saw it. Any other questions for the applicants? All right. We have a motion for approval then. We have a motion for Alderman Wilson, second by Alderman Glick. Do we have any questions or discussions about this one? I know we've had a few, some information provided by our attorney about eligibilities and that sort of thing. Does anybody have any question about any of that?
Has he sold beer previously?
He has, and there are some recommendations as far as state training goes. He is, and I don't know that's where the question is headed, but he has been certified and taken certain classes. I think the main concern always is sales to underage individuals. So he has had some specific training as to that.
Okay. Any other questions? If not, let's vote. Yes. 7 yes. Thank you, sir. Let's see. Is that the last one? So that's it. So no other business. We are adjourned. I don't know. I just feel confused every second, but that's the way I run all these.
I got it. Well, I have to say something, just standing in there, certainly. Yeah, I saw that.
I would, yeah.